What's up, everybody? Excuse me, it's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Let me just mute for a second here. Okay, we are back, and let's make it happen here. So, as we like to say, this is the home of epic conversations, and the Dr. Vibe show is the place of epic conversations. And we're doing something ad hoc, like just off the cuff here. One of the great people on vocal, gentleman named Anthony, said, hey, let's have a conversation about the lack of sincerity in the world today. And he's given some definitions on the side of Get Vocal here. So if anyone wants to jump in, let's make it happen. Tony, how are you?
How are you? I'm doing okay. Excuse my sinus infection right now, but
That's okay.
yes, I am the one who brought this topic up. So I just thought, well, I might as well hop in.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
So yeah, hey Dre,
what's up? Thank you, Dr. Vibe.
No
so
problem.
Dre, did you want to? Do you want me to? Do you want to explain why I brought this up, or
yes,
Dr. Vibe,
yes,
you ready
I
for me
do.
Okay. Okay, well, the reason I brought this up is because of the fact that I have noticed this a lot in my life. Part of what I deal with my health situations and my life situations, a lot of people have asked, not the question of sincerity or lack thereof, is the big question I get, not from my family, but a lot of people that I meet on the internet and people in general is, well, what's your intention? What is your intention with us? And it made me kind of think, what is my intention with you? So the first question I got was, well, am I coming across as a sincere person? Am I coming across as fake, or am I coming across as something I like to say, coming on too strong or not coming on too strong enough? And then I started noticing other people's behaviors about, well, what are their intentions? Are they being sincere? Are there alternative motives? That's another topic that I come up with the lack of sincerity or the abundance of it thereof. So, in today's society where everyone's trying to be some kind of celebrity or be noticed, or just, on social media or in real life or whatever, you do have to question, are people sincere in their actions, or are they trying to get something, an alternative motive? And I'm not necessarily talking about sex. It could be sex, it could be money, it could be fame, it could be power, it could be control, whatever. I deal with sincerity a lot, to the fact that I'm just kind of like, are people being sincere, and do they have alternative motives?
That's a good.
Ray, do you want to jump in, or do you want me to come on in?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I could share. I think that's a genuine concern, and in a time like this, where the individual person is more celebrated than it is the whole. It's sort of like it's bound to happen that way, where people make connections solely based on what others can do for them or how they can elevate themselves. I'm not sure if you guys know this. I wrote a book called From a Fatherless Father to His Sons.
Yep.
And I share my experiences, like growing up, not having a father, and then connecting with men, hoping to sort of like to gain like some kind of relationship, like a father-son relationship, right? And one thing I found that some people wanted me around them because I did things for them. They weren't looking to have like a mutual relationship. they found something beneficial that I can bring to them. Yeah, and it wasn't even anything that was beneficial to me. It just helped their situation. And I think in a time like today, where people are looking to advance individually and willing to step on anybody that they can, it's in this kind of society in where we are today, and it's sad to say, that's how a lot of relationships are. That's how it is. What can you do for me before I can connect with you? And it's sad, and so it makes it less sincere. A lot of us aren't really looking at how I can give benefit to the community, and how the community can give benefit to me. It's a lot of times it's like, okay, what can these people do for me? And if they can do for me, I'll stick around. So it's this. So I feel you. I definitely understand.
I can approach it. So I'm going to be a little bit all around here. I think one way we can look at this is that we don't live in a democracy. We live in a capitalistic society.
Okay.
And in a capitalistic society, people are judged on what they have, not who they are. And I think that's part of the challenge right now, that in regards to sincerity also, because they're only reflecting it from what they see around them, from us older heads. So I just wanted, when Tony mentioned this aspect of sincerity and the lack of sincerity, I automatically glad that you came on and just saying, you're an educator. What are you seeing with young people in regards to sincerity? Good, bad, or indifferent? And same with Bobby. I know Bobby has a son, so he may want to come in or at least join in on the side. But go ahead, Dre.
It's hard. Like with kids, you got to look at them as an individual. But one problem that many, and it's not just our school, it's something that's been in the news lately, and that's bullying, right? Children aren't really, they don't really know what sincerity looks like, from music that they listen to, the people that they look up to, even for instance, right? And we're all guilty of this. So I don't care what anybody say. We're all guilty of this, especially today. I saw a comedian one time, an Italian guy, funny. And he was talking about his Italian family and how back in the 80s, 70s, if somebody was to ring the doorbell, right?
Oh, yeah. I've heard this routine. Yeah.
Everybody would run to the door, get excited. Come on in.
We have company.
Yeah. We got company. Same guy. Take out the intimates, right? And it didn't matter what time, all right? If somebody they didn't have to call, they can come by. Today's day, if our doorbells ring, and I'm guilty of this too. Like I have the Ring app. If my doorbell rings, I'm looking to see who's at my door. Oh. And if I don't know who the person is, or I'm like, hey, who are you? I'm not interested. And even with my phone, right? We all have cell phones, right? And I remember back in the day, everybody in my home would run to the cell phone, to the one phone we had in the house, hoping to answer it. Today, we have individual phones, which means that we can answer anytime we want, right? And if my phone is in my kitchen, and I'm guilty of this, and I'm being transparent, if my phone is in the kitchen, right, and it rings, right, my sons will say, Dad, so-and-so is on the phone. I'll say, let it go to voicemail, right? I really like this person. I'm just not feeling like listening to them. Yeah. Our kids learn that kind of behavior by seeing us do things like that, right? And they don't understand why. Maybe I owe them money and I don't want to answer the phone right now. They don't know that. They just know, okay, that Dad doesn't want to talk to one of his good friends. So maybe it's okay for me to be that way with my friends. So even small little things like that, our kids pick up on. They take this to school and they start acting these kind of what they think is the right behaviors out. And that's where bullying happens. Children aren't as empathetic as they should be they do things to others and don't consider how it would make them feel if they were in the same situation until they're in the same situation, and then they forget that they were in that situation and wind up doing the bad behavior again. And kids really do think of themselves before they think of the group. It's not all kids, because I have a couple of students that are empathetic, that are caring. If there's something wrong with another student, Mr. Harrison, so-and-so is crying. I don't know what it's about, but maybe you can help them out. There are kids like that, and they're genuinely sincere about others. But again, you're right, Dr. Vibe. In a capitalistic society, where it's about the individual getting ahead, it's hard to be really sincere about people, because we're all trying to get ahead, and we don't really understand that rising tides raises all ships. We're just trying to be we're trying to be that one ship bigger than all the others. So.
Well, Stacy did bring up that topic a little bit in your show, right? Your after show, Dre, about what should we talk about, and it's talking about the us versus we mentality, the all versus one kind of thing, and it kind of does drive us the way we are today, with social media being the way it is. Everybody's got a cell phone today, or a tablet or laptop or something, and we're always pushing the not the socialistic kind of the entrepreneurship kind of drive thing, and that's all wonderful and good, and it needs to be done, but again, getting back to my topic of nobody, somebody driving down the road and seeing somebody with a flat tire, do you think anybody would sincerely stop and say, "Hey, brother, sister, kid, do you need your help? Can I call somebody for it? Can I do that for you?"
I know I've been in situations like that too, where if it's like in the daytime, I'm stopping and helping. But like sometimes at night, I'll be driving and I'm afraid to pull over because I don't know what's going to happen, and I'll call.
And then on top of that, it might be adding insult to injury, or it might enhance it. Saying, "Hey, let me take a selfie of this moment." Hey, I'm helping society.
Yeah.
But, like, really? By taking a selfie?
Yeah. Dr. Vi, what do you think?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I for people who are on live and also people watching the replay, how often do you hear the words "please" and "thank you" these days?
Yeah, in New York, you don't hear it at all. Not in New York City. No. Nope.
That's the same here in Toronto.
Yeah.
So, a lot of Toronto people want to be are New York wannabes. So, but just those things like "please." And what's really interesting is when you're sincere, a lot of times people think you're weird.
Yeah.
They look at you going, wow, like they look like you're from Mars. I don't know if you gentlemen can relate to that, but when you're sincere, I'll be transparent here. People say I'm a fairly large black man. I'm about 6'3", etc. And when sincerity is me. I'm not perfect, but I do be as sincere as possible. And a lot of people just say he's out for something. He has an ulterior motive because he's being sincere. I don't know if either you gentlemen experienced that. And just before we go any, I'm just going to say thank you much to Herb's Hangout, who invited followers on Twitter, and also Don Morris also. But and this gentleman at VE3LDJ, I'm a please, thank you kind of guy. Yeah, and especially in these days, now, just from a gentleman's perspective, with the Me Too movement, being sincere is even look more strangely these days.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
What do you want? Yeah. Yeah, and again, it's where we are in society today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know for me, it's very hard to be social these days because of the fact of this topic we're talking about, and it's got to the point I'm just like, the only way that I can be social is online these days, and
Wow.
I'm kind of skittish about the thing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reason I kind of brought the topic up of.
No, I think it's a great topic, and then Sonia in the comments here is saying she doesn't hear please or thank you not often unless I'm in a work setting. That's interesting because a
Yeah.
lot of people you think you'd never hear it in a work setting these days. And she also adds, to me, it's common courtesy to say please and thank you, basically how you were brought up. That's I agree with that, but a lot of people they may be brought up that way, but once they get big up or big people, they lose
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yeah, it's sad.
Well, Sonia's like me. We both grew up in this. We're both in the South. We're both in state of Virginia, and
Right.
here in the
What
South,
state?
in Virginia, in Virginia, and
Well,
so
you know what? I was
so
almost gonna
and,
want to make this
but
conversation about Virginia
but
tonight,
here
but
but
I'll
here in
be
the
right
South,
back, guys. I'll be right back.
here in the
no
South,
problem.
being
Go on.
nice is just a given. We're nice to everybody here in the South, but it's also a there's a group online called it's a Southern thing. I'm not any part of them, but I do watch a lot of their stuff. They make fun of Southern culture quite a bit, and one of their skits that they do is about bless your heart. That's a saying here.
Bless your
Bless your
heart.
heart, and bless your heart can
Yes.
have a double, triple, quadruple meaning. It can mean bless your heart, meaning being sympathetic, but it can also be an insult. So please and thank you here in the South. You kind of have to question. Okay, is he being nice, or is he being sarcastic, or is he putting me down? you know. So yeah, in the South, it's kind of okay. Um,
Yeah.
but generally,
Yeah. Well, I just shout out to Patricia. Hey, Patricia, what's up? And people do follow Durham Skywriter on whatever social media platform delivers great shares, not delivers shares great content. So please check her out whenever she is broadcasting. She does outstanding stuff. Also, want to they're a great comedy troupe. I enjoy their videos too.
yeah, she's talking about it's
Okay.
a Southern thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to shout out Kinte Ferguson from the left coast. Man does so many conversations on different platforms. He's not a multitasker, he's a multi-purposer. So do check out everything he does online also. Yeah, it's interesting though, and then you bring up a really good topic tonight, and I know we're not going to go too long, but I'm thinking about also doing a part two of this. I feel that the sincerity and courtesy is like it's going out the window. If not, it's gone out the window. We look more on what we don't have in common than what we do have in common. We're looking for the things we don't have, and automatically puts us into conflict sometimes and many times unnecessarily.
Yeah, that's true. And again, we brought the topic a little bit about just cultures really understanding each other. I don't even think people understand each other these days, to be honest with you. Much less culture,
Well,
much less
I think
cultures.
I think a lot of people don't even understand themselves. Forget about understanding culture.
So,
Just putting it out there. Greetings to Luke. Greetings to me, Ritz Kellogg. Thanks for jumping in. There's an open seat if you want to jump in, and as always, feel free to make comments on the side. Let me
hey,
ask
Rich.
Tony, the sincerity that you were raised with. Do you see young people where you live? Thank you. Looking good on Periscope. Thank you very much. Do you see the young people in the South still having that sincerity?
Yes and no. I because of the South, you grow up in manners, and it's kind of a given thing. You say please, you say thank you, you do things without questioning intentions. You do things without expecting anything in return. And it's kind of a given thing. But the way society is nowadays, especially here in the South, it's yeah, I could honestly see somebody in my example, sincerely going up to somebody and helping them with a spare tire if they see them on a flatter road, or taking somebody a meal if they need to. But on the other hand, they'll also say, "Hey, can we take a selfie of this moment right now?" and or hey, since I did this for you, can you remember can you remember me and check pay me something, or give me, or check me out on social media, or whatever, or so yeah, there's kind of a half-hearted sincerity there to it, especially in the South. Dr. Bob, you're muted.
Dre, what is the last act of sincerity that you remember happening to you? It could be this afternoon, could be the last week. Right. And I want to go with Tony with that, a moment of sincerity that happened to you, and I'll also join in at the end. So Dre, go ahead first.
And this is a real story. So after I got divorced, right? After my ex-wife left and I was getting a divorce, I had my kids with me, and I was driving at the time a 97 Nissan Maxima, a white Nissan Maxima, stick shift. I loved that car. I put so much into maintaining it, but it got to the point where it was costing more to fix it than the car was worth, right? And at that time, I did not have the money for it, right? And this is again something that actually happened. So I wound up taking that car, and my ex-wife took the minivan. Kind of funny. I had the kids, but she didn't know how to drive stick, so I didn't want to leave her without a car. So what happened after a while? She had the car wound up racking up, the minivan wound up racking up tickets about the same time that my car went dead, right? So
wow.
So when I found out, I looked up how much it cost to get the car out from the pound, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of money, a lot of money. I didn't have it. So I was without a car, and I couldn't even get that car out to use it. And a friend of mine, a female friend of mine, and when I mean she was just a friend, there was nothing involved. She found out the situation. I opened up about the situation, told her how frustrated I was, and I wasn't expecting anything, right? And the next day, she came up and gave me money to take the car out with this stipulation: you get the car out, you need to keep it for you and the boys. I said, wow, I don't have it to pay you back right now. She tells me, I'm not giving you this for you to pay me back. You and your kids need a vehicle to get around, and I just want to help. And at first I was like, she's going to want something in return. But no, really gave me the money, and I feel bad for taking money from anybody. And maybe this is the man in me. I don't want to get I'm not prideful, but I feel bad.
I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back.
Yeah,
that's the attitude.
But here's the thing: I tried to, and she wouldn't take it. She would not take it. And that was wow. That was the first, probably one of the most genuine things that happened to me, and most sincere things where somebody did something for me and didn't want anything in return, right? Where on the flip side to that, I knew a guy who I used to work with, who I considered a mentor for a long time, would do things for me, and every time his response would be, all right, you owe me, right? And I was like,
oh wow.
I don't like that, Yeah, but that was one of my most sincere moments that I've experienced.
Tony?
Well, I do have a good friend here who, even though he has a business of his own, he builds computers and fixes computers and things like that. I've made a very good friends with him. He's a real good spiritual advisor to me and real good a friend in general. And one day, I didn't have a computer at all. I mean, because literally it just broke. And he just out of the blue, just for no reason, he showed up at my door and had this big old honking computer beside of him and said, "Here, I built your computer. Use it and have it."
Wow.
And I'm just like, like you built me a computer, and it was, I looked at the thing, and I had a monitor. Luckily, I had a monitor I could use it with, and a few other things I could plug up to it. And I looked inside it, and I'm like, this thing is worth like $2,000. And he said, "Here, I just built your computer. I had extra parts. I built your computer because I like you and I'm your friend. And I know this will be, I know how sane the internet keeps you, and having something like that." And so, yeah, I'm just like, Ed, you did not have to do that. I was gonna pay you to build me a computer anyway. But he just said, "Nope, just wanted to build your computer because I knew you needed one. I knew you and your family needed one." So,
Before I get to my little story, I will share some of the comments. Patricia's saying, "I notice I get a lot of perks and extras out in the world, and I think it's because I'm nice and I'm pleasant to everyone. I think lots of folks are just waiting for the opportunity to be nice to others." Ritz Kellogg says, "I had the opposite of sincerity happen to me 2 times this week from 2 people that I thought were my friends." And Ritz also says, "My story has to do with cars as well." Well, I'll add to the car story. Let me just get my camera in balance here. Hold on here. So, I work for an organization in the West End of Toronto. It's an organization that does mentorship and it supports fathers. And it was about 2 months ago, driving into work, park at the back to take stuff out into the office. Take stuff out, come back, turn on the ignition. The car's running. I'm putting my foot on the accelerator. It's not moving. I'm going, okay, this is really weird. So I said, let me turn it off, turn it on again. Doesn't move. So I take a look underneath the car. The axle from the engine to the front passenger wheel had snapped. Right? So I'm here in the West End of Toronto. My mechanic is in the East End of Toronto. So have to get I have my tow truck guy. He tows me all the way over to my mechanic, and it is a rainy, damn cold night. So after I drop the car off at the mechanic, the only way I'm going to get home is either I take an Uber or I take a bus. I said, okay, let me take the bus. So I haven't taken a bus in years, all right? Years. So I get on the bus and I put a $5 bill into the box, fare box, because I don't know how much it costs. So I am tired. I'm exhausted. I've got two bags with me because I had to take some stuff home from work. And I sit down. And wouldn't you know, coming up to me, a gentleman who I had never met in my life gives me $2. Why did he give me $2? I put in $5. The cash fare is $3. He gave me my change.
No.
I know I probably will never see that man again.
Yeah.
But to me, that was a true act of sincerity. He just out of his heart. How was the bus system running? It's not bad in Toronto. It's not bad. It's it's reaching its limits, but a lot of people take the transit in Toronto. But I thought that I'll never forget that story either, in regards to sincerity, receiving sincerity, as that was just a classic story too. And I'll give an area where I gave out sincerity. about 2 years ago, I was looking to get into the insurance industry, and I had to take an exam, and it's a difficult exam. I don't know how many people know about insurance exams. They are not easy. They're very difficult. And this exam that I was taking, the how many the people my friend just took that exam. I took the car and home insurance exam up here in Ontario, which is a province in Canada, like you have states in the United States. And most of the time, only 30% of the people pass it on the first try. Well, the class that I was in, 75% of the people passed it on the first try. I didn't. I failed. I got below 75% 6 times.
Mm.
So on the seventh time, I parked downtown Toronto, and I parked in front of a woman's shelter, and I'm running out of the car to get on the exam on time, and a lady asked me, "Can you spare some change?" I said, "You know what, lady? I got to run to this exam." And about 30 seconds later, said, "No, that's not me." So I went back, gave her change. Wouldn't you know, I passed the exam.
Wow. Yeah.
So there's an act of receiving sincerity and an act of giving sincerity. So just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah, I think.
I've got the gentleman. Oh, wow. Look who is here. L.A. Wade is on Periscope.
Hey, LA.
What's going on?
Wade, what is that? Your members of your fan club are here on Get Vocal, by the way, L.A.
What
Wade.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the whole sincerity aspect, it's unfortunate that we live in a world today that honest sincerity is still questioned. Patricia is saying, a couple of years ago, I waited in line to pay gas for my car. I was puzzled when the cashier said that the man ahead of me had paid $10 from me. I couldn't figure out how anyone would know I was down a couple of dollars in change. LOL. That was really nice. Ritz Kellogg is saying the friend, he was so happy that he passed. He was drinking some cognac at the bar the day he passed. I believe it. I believe it. And here's the funny thing, though. After I passed that insurance exam, that 2 days later, the company let me go.
What?
Oh.
But you can use that somewhere else,
it
right?
was a wonderful thing. No, but it's all right. I'm happy because it put me in the place that I'm truly, truly, truly happy in where I'm serving now, helping fathers across the country. But yeah, life is a trip. But I also will say, too, Ritz, if you're not careful, life will kill you.
Yeah.
So I leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just a little bit of some of my journey. I just said it was, you make, like they say, lemons out of lemonade. So that was really, really crazy. Yeah. So sincerity. When you look, Benjamin, and the people in the audience, when you look at your parents, were they good models of sincerity?
Well,
the thinking is going on here.
I can speak on the part of my father. No, he wasn't. And I know that based on just a few years of knowing him. Yeah, he wasn't. But my mom was always so concerned with other things. So I can't even tell if I remember her level of sincerity, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't remember.
So, Dre, just going on what you've shared with us, and I appreciate that. Yeah, Nikki from Blab. Yes, she passed away. Yes, we are aware of that. Yeah. And when I heard that news, I was a little hesitant about wanting to do a conversation tonight. But in her memory, I thought we would do this, and I think she'd appreciate this conversation. Yeah. So we're dedicating this conversation to Nikki, and wow. So hopefully we'll find out a little bit more. But yeah, we express condolences to the families and their friends all around the world. Yeah. L.A. Wade is saying, yes, I think my mother believes she was sincere, but I think she was codependent. That is interesting.
That's interesting because I deal with that myself, even in my 40s. You know, my mother was probably one of the most sincere people in the world. You know, given that I was that me and my brother was raised by a single mother, and we had to get every help we could get. My aunt Rainelle, my mother's sister, we had friends, family helping us all the time. Um, and you know, she had to work 3 jobs just to raise me and my brother. Um, and uh, so I was raised by her, my aunt Rainelle, my peers, family, church, everything. And you know, I could tell looking back that she was very sincere when she come to terms of you know, I'm just trying to raise my boys. Uh, but yeah, I dealt with a lot of the codependency issue myself, and I'm still dealing with that to the day.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna shout out here. Oh, Dre jumped out. Well, come to think of it, my dad did tell me sometimes you have to let your spouse win a disagreement if you think, even if you think they're wrong. They're wrong. He said togetherness was more important than winning. I love that. That's strong. That's strong. L.A. Wade, I know you're watching this on Periscope. Uh, yeah, you know what? There was a topic, two topics that L.A. Wade and a group of ladies called the All Our Own ladies did on their platform that needs to be done here. But I'm not going to talk about it too much here. But I like Dre saying togetherness, TWO hyphen togetherness. I love that. That is really, really good. Really, really good. Well done. Yeah, for my parents, always manners and respect, especially with my dad. Uh, and plus, even more so, he was a teacher for 38 years in the same public school. So even like he was that sort of person, and that he commanded that. And when people tell me you're a very sincere person, I said, well, I got it from the best, my parents. And I still think that sincerity goes a long way, even if people, as long as it's coming from the right place, and if it's coming for the right reason in the right place, I think sincerity is good. It's a fantastic thing. Tony?
Well, Doctor Fowler, I have to add to this. Would you say that not just sincerity has come into play, but also humility? Does humility?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Being humble is a good thing. I agree with sincerity and humble. Well, you foresight on Periscope says, when it comes to spouses, I think it would be better to have a warm heart than sleep on a cold couch. I like that. You are, and L.A. Wade says, you're a great man with a big heart, Dr. Vibe. I'm humbled, L.A. Wade. I am very humble. I am not perfect. I just work to get better each day. And my goodness, I have my faults, but I always try to, and sincerity, there is a price that you sometimes have to pay for being sincere and being humble.
Mhm.
There's a price to play, and I think less and less people want to pay that price. But I think it, at least in my line, in my journey, it's worth it. And as I said, I'm not perfect, but I get a little better each day. And for me, sincerity is. Thank you, L.A. Wade. Can I hire you as my publicist? That is what is great about you. I appreciate you
I
back,
appreciate
LA
LA a
Wade.
lot. Yes.
Yeah, LA is on fire. Actually, just to promote it, LA is going to be with me, I think, next Thursday, talking about the transitional year program at the University of Toronto that she is in charge of. So people, uh, mark it down. She's going to tell you about the great offerings about the transitional year program at the University of Toronto. And she says, "Oh, thanks, Tony."
Oh.
Let's see. It's Ritz Kellogg saying it seems a lot of people seem to be so prideful nowadays, and being right is more important than actual friendship. Teaching someone a lesson type of thinking is not friendship and is exact opposite in my opinion. I agree. And it's funny, and we've expanded the conversation a bit. Uh, have you, and people who are watching live or on the replay, if you've ever been in one of those heated conversations with someone and you say, I'm sorry, and you're sincerely meaning it, but they're still wanting to rant on. You're being sincere and saying, I made a mistake, but they're more concerned of, having their say pounding away instead of they're not listening that you're honestly wrong. I made a mistake. Ritz Kellogg says exactly. Yeah, we're a number of us. I'm not going to say many of us. A number of us are so concerned. It's not about exactly, Luke. It's not about who wins. No, it isn't. Yeah, they want to be right. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. Tony, I got to thank you. Like, this conversation just came ad hoc from you, and I really got to thank you because there's great sharing going on by the people in the audience on Get Vocal and on Periscope. It's a very important topic, sincerity.
Well, like I said in the beginning of the conversation, it is something I deal with quite a lot, especially since I do question my intentions. I don't question my intentions a lot, but I do get questioned of my intentions quite a lot in my life, and I'm just kind of like, well, the only intentions I have.
Why are they questioning your intentions? Why do you feel they're questioning your intentions?
And the only intentions I really have is, well, I'm just trying to make my life better and your life better in the process, and I'm trying to make a good friendship and connection. I'm not trying to get anything from you or out of you except for bettership of myself and bettership of you, and then it kind of questions about, well, are people being sincere to me, or am I being sincere to them, or am I really kind of I really don't know. I don't think I have any alternative motives towards people except for making their life better and making my life better in the process. And it just, I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Well, what I would say in regards to that, Tony, is consider the source, right? If it's someone that doesn't know you, just considering the source. If it's someone that is close to you and they're questioning your sincerity, maybe you want to delve into that and dig a little bit deeper. But if it's someone who doesn't know you, come on. I just keep catching up on Periscope here. You Foresight saying being humble comes at a great price. However, you have to stay humble in order to help people sometimes. Well put. LA Wade is saying humility and sincerity goes well together.
Mm-hmm.
I fully agree with that. So I also want to welcome Joe.
I had to step away. I'm not sure if you talked about this. So here's a question. How do you balance having humility and sincerity and not being stepped on at the same time?
I think from my place is, and you being a relationship, I consider you somewhat of a relationship guru. When people come to me for relationship thought process, especially when the relationship has gone downhill, I always ask, have you ever set the boundaries?
That's good. That's big.
Because if you do not set the boundaries, then people are making assumptions. You have to put it out there. Because rightly or wrongly, people will take advantage of you and your sincerity.
Oh, yeah.
And I think also sincerity has to be a two-way street. Because you can't always be giving, and not at least the other person offering in return. So sincerity has to be based on fairness.
Yeah, reciprocation is huge.
Just my opinion.
Reciprocation is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, that reciprocation may come in different actions than what you're giving. So I think that setting the boundaries or setting what you are expecting is important as early as possible. And just looking at Ritz Kellogg here, I live in Los Angeles. There are so many people out to take advantage of you. I'm the type of person that trusts people from the beginning. I've been like this forever. From what I am being told, you are supposed to let people gain your trust. I've been down that countless amounts of times because of this trait of mine. What is your opinion? So, gentlemen, and also people in the
Yeah.
audience, Rich is saying you know, he the trust thing. What do you got to say? Let people gain your trust. I think you should let
Yeah.
people gain
Well,
your
you're
trust.
supposed
Absolutely.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're supposed to.
Yeah, trust is one of those things that should not be given lightly. Everyone should earn whatever trust that you give. Everyone, you can give people the benefit of the doubt and go into relationships thinking the best, but always prepare for the worst just in case. Like, again, you got to know somebody, and you don't just give people your most prized possession because you're supposed to trust people. You earn them. I have 3 kids, right? And my oldest son is 21. I still don't trust everybody with my oldest son. Like, my son, he makes friends, and I'm like, who are you? What are your intentions? Listen, before I can let this rock out and I be nice to you, I really need to know who you are and what intentions you have for my son, whether it's a female or a guy that he hangs out with, because some friends, period, look to have company when they're doing stupid stuff. So, and my youngest son, not everybody can watch my youngest son. I'm not just going to trust people with that. Trust is one of those things that everybody should expect to earn. Don't expect to be given trust.
Tony, anything you want to add to that?
Well, there's a fine line between always questioning somebody's intentions, not just taking them for granted. The finding your trust in someone, it should be earned, and a lot of times it is given, but most times you do have to earn it. But you kind of have to play with emotions and feelings and everything else to understand. Yeah, you're good for me or you're bad for me.
Yeah. Rich brought up a good point too. Like, it's hard to take your own advice, and that's why, like, I always wind up talking to somebody else also. Like, I have people that I talk to help me unpack what I'm going through, so that
Absolutely. And I just want to add to that. I think that we all should have at least a few people that know not only the good about us, but the bad about you.
Yeah.
That's very, very important. And you're able to handle them being sincerely honest with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and that's important. We need
sincerity isn't always flowers, right? We got to realize that it's not always flowers.
Yeah, we need those friends that love us enough to call us out on our stuff. Listen, like,
yes, I agree. That's part of the sincerity piece. That sincerity is not easy, and as these gentlemen mentioned, you got to earn it, and it can go through some challenging times. But at the end of the day, there's a bigger picture than just you.
True.
Very, very much so. But I agree in regards to, I'm another person that I used to give everyone my trust, but I learned. And I think the best way to learn is going through hard lessons. And a lot of times the best way to just see if someone trusts you is give people freedom. Give people freedom and see what they do with their sincerity, and watch them.
Yeah.
Don't give the assumptions thing. Assumptions are not good. It's actually one of the most dangerous words in the world is assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Big time. But sincerity, yeah, we're living in a world where it doesn't come easy. But if you meet, like Ritz is good here. I think it may be because I was raised in a private school until I went to junior high school. The junior high school I went to was gang infested, race riots, teachers getting stabbed with pencils, drive-by shootings, and such. I think possibly what was implanted at such an early age of being around good people stuck with me, even though I ended up in one of the toughest schools after that.
What junior high school is this? Like, where was it located?
Wow.
Yeah. And also here, you Foresight says, think it's easy. Think it's easy. You ask yourself, what would Jesus do? Remind yourself of what his sacrifice was. Remember what they say about the word assume. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Absolutely. Oh, California, 1987. Wow. So, Ritz, who instilled that sincerity in you? Was that something you just learned on your own? Was it family? Where did you get that instilling? My family. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where it all begins.
There you go. Yeah, that's the core. My pastor, who ended up being my stepfather. Okay. Wow. That's an incredible story there. That is an incredible story there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what?
Ritz, hopefully one day I'd love you to come on, get Fogel, whether it's me or you host something yourself. I would like to hear that story.
Yeah.
That's a serious story. At the same time, I was treated like a
see, now that's what I was talking about before, the blended family.
Yes.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's good stuff, Ritz. Yeah. Way confusing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and again, too, folks, everyone has their own definition of sincerity, just like everyone has their own definition of what a friend is. But I think there's some core things when it comes to sincerity that everyone should have when that word sincerity comes up. I rebelled at an early age. Wow. Understood.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have any comments? Just think if you had. Bobby, you're a joker. You're such a Drew. Hey, welcome, Drew. What's up? What's up? That's good stuff.
All right.
That is good stuff. We're going to probably end it off soon because Dre had a conversation earlier and I didn't want to keep it going for too long. And I was supposed to have a conversation. Yeah. I had a me show. The other person didn't show up. So Dre asked me if I could post something quick on the fly. And I love doing that. I love just putting it out there. And when we have great community like Tony putting out this conversation, and I part 2 of this, Tony, because I think we got to delve a little deeper on this. We just scratched the surface on this one. So when I do the part 2, if you're available, great. If not, I will give credit.
Well, let me know when you're doing it. Yeah, I'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very important subject. And sincerity, and as Dre said, next week is Valentine's Day. I'm challenging someone. I challenge you all of you out there. Be sincere to someone other than if you have a significant other or a partner. Find someone you haven't talked to in the last 6 months and just reach out to them, whether it's phone, text message, and just say, hey, you good? And mean it.
I have to go, guys.
Yeah, all right. Dre, be on your way. We'll catch you later.
I'll see you, Dre. I'll see you.
All right. Be well. Thanks again. Be well. Keep the faith.
Too, and Dre, it's good seeing you. But, I have to say, since the years being involved with social media, especially with the video platforms, most people who present themselves on camera these days are probably the most sincere people in the world, because it takes a lot of humility and sincerity to come on camera and present yourself and show yourself the way you are, and or to change with the times, and people like us who are with the blab mentality, the get vocal mentality, we're very sincere with each other. We help each other a lot. Our community, whenever somebody is in trouble or passes away, like Nikki just has, we learn to as a tribe come together and help each other. And but in today's society where on the other side of the sword, where we're just kind of like, hey, look at my stuff, buy my material, buy into what I'm doing. Uh, you know, I'll help you out if you help me. That kind of mentality. That's just what I see mostly today. Is uh, it's just very sad. It's very sad to the point you
Yeah,
just kind of have to question.
no, I hear where you're coming from. I I just I just hope people see the light. I really do. And sometimes you'll have to go through something in order to see the light. Hey, what is up, Brian? Good stuff. Yes, we are aware of the loss of dear Nikki, and we're doing this conversation for her today. A lot because she is a lady who had sincerity, and we know that she
Mm-hmm.
didn't lack that. But again, we express condolences right across to her family, her friends on these platforms and around the world. I'm going to shut it down. This was an ad hoc conversation, but man, it made my day better. And thank you, Tony, for
Oh, you're
allowing us
welcome.
to. Yeah, thank you, Ritz. Thank you for making an epic conversation. That is large, and I really impacted by what you had to share with us tonight, man. And don't be afraid to reach out to me if you ever want to chat. We're here to serve, and many of the people here we come from we lead with our heart, and sometimes you pay a price, but at the end of the day, when you lead with your heart, you come out better in the end. I am Dr. Vibe, nothing but that's who I am. Receive that. um I'll just send it off. I usually have a long thing. I'll just say it's Dr. Vibe, your host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of epic conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations. If you want to watch replays of my conversations, you can watch them on Get Vocal. You can watch them on YouTube. You can listen to them on a different platforms. Just go to the drvibeshow.com and everything will be right there for you. I have some conversations coming up next week. Can't remember them, but just follow me and you'll see what's coming on. And if you have any great conversation topics, and this is a perfect example, a little over an hour ago, hour and 10 minutes ago, Tony put up this topic and said, okay, let's do something with it. So that's the way we do things. So as always, I like to say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Next up, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. And finally, as I bring it up here, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. I'd like to thank Tony. I'd like to thank Dre. I'd like to thank Patricia. I'd like to thank Ritz Kellogg, Bobby, Joseph, Ryan. Sonia was on earlier on the Periscope. And I'd like to thank you for sight and LA Wade. We are done for today and make it a better tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. God bless. Peace to all and keep the faith.
Bye.